All right, how's everybody doing out there today? This is Gold Pilled here with the Gold Pilled stream, and I got an interesting video here for you today, and it revolves around a rockfin video from Charlie Robinson. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but he was interviewing the supposed Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, and it really got me thinking about this old Voorhees and what he's trying to accomplish now. So I figured I would share that because it really falls in line with the IIA operations and kind of the total control of your mind via the internet and the media. And in my opinion, and going forward here, the current alternative media is nothing but mainstream media 2.0 now, in my opinion. And this really helps to usher in that kind of mainstream media 2.0. So it's kind of what we're going to cover today. Watch a couple clips from it, talk about it, and I'll show you the current result of this Voorhees' efforts to bring alternative, supposed truth, media, and information to you. And in my eyes, he's failed miserably. But I don't think it's on purpose. I think what he's doing is intentional. And we'll go over that. And I apologize for the occasional spitting there, but that sickness I had, upper respiratory infection, it went away pretty quickly, but I was unable to, quit smoking or even cut back really from my normal routine. And it just kind of re-irritated my lungs. And it kind of seemed like I was going down the bronchitis or the walking pneumonia road. So I had to quit immediately somehow. And I kind of tried cold turkey. I can't make it more than half a day to a day. So I had to get a couple cans of snuff to ease that, and hopefully I can quit that way and just go off of it. But from past experiences, I haven't, so it's gonna be hard. But all right, let's carry on. Let's start this opening video clip and check it out, and we'll discuss more.
He's also the founder of Blast.video. Zach Voorhees is here. Hey, Zach, good to see you again. How you doing, man?
Hey, Charlie, thank you for having me on your program.
Well, thanks for coming on. Let's start from the beginning. And you might be tired of telling this story, but I listened to it in detail. When you explain, I think it's important to understand why you're doing what you're doing. But when that was in a SWAT team to your house, I don't want to spoil it. Fill us in on.
Yeah. So, Google used to be like this libertarian company. Their first constitutional, point was to don't be evil. And the second was to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. And that was something that I really agreed with. And I really liked the company. It was really great when I started in 2008, all the way into 2016, when they basically just flipped 180 degrees due to the wrong presidential candidate winning the presidential election. And that was.
Yeah, I think it's funny there. He said they were good, clear to 2016, and then did a 180. Well, they were on that path before 2016, way before 2016. And you didn't notice that at all there, Voorhees? Just oblivious to you until Trump got elected? Interesting question.
Donald Trump. And what I didn't realize was that Google was about to lose their collective minds and go absolutely insane. And that's essentially what happened. I remember waking up the morning of November 5th, I believe. When was the election? 2016, November 4th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So November 4th, I woke up. November 5th, I woke up, and I remember sort of laughing to myself going, wow, this is, a loss of the left that they haven't had in a really long time. Like they've had a string of successes with Obama. They seem to have been able to get their agenda. Now it's time to share that power a little bit and let the conservatives have their little, bit of time to run the government. And what I didn't realize is that the left had different plans. And specifically, Google brought it upon themselves to define the presidential win via Russia hacking the election, essentially, and a bunch of fake news. And I was like, really? This is what you guys think? And yeah, it was. And right after Trump got elected, there was like this really famous all hands meeting that happened 1 week after the election. And it was people like the CFO, the CEO talking about how they were going to lose this election, recounting how led up to it. And one of the interesting things that was asked by one of the employees was what some of the effective things that Google had done during the election, to which the CEO replied that it was the use of machine learning fairness in order to censor the news. And for me, it was like, wait a minute, what? Like, when have we been defining fake news and when have we been censoring it? And so, Charlie, I started digging into the company and trying to figure out, what is the definition of fake news for Google? Now, Google's an open company. Eric Schmidt built it that way. You can figure out what everyone else in the company is working on. Their OKRs, their objective key results, their little badges that we have at the company, what their code reviews look like, everything. You can get full transparency in all the employees. Well, it turns out that there was a fake news team, and the fake news team was delivering all of their documents that were searchable for any full-time employee to just stumble upon and see, which is what I did. And as I started looking through the definition of fake news, I started to realize that it had a lot to do with Hillary Clinton. In fact, out of the 5 examples that they used, 4 of them happened to be about Hillary Clinton. And so I was like, well, wait a minute. Is this about the fake news, or is this about putting your finger on the scale of the election and affecting the election outcome? So I started to get suspicious. I dug in a little bit further. I found out that this fake news definition was being used to generate training data for a secret Google project for censorship, which was called Machine Learning Fairness.
Now, I find his story there interesting that, they just started doing this for the election, and it was all about Hillary and blah, blah, blah. Well, if that was true, why didn't Hillary win? Google has massive power to sway people's thinking. Well, they should have been successful. Hillary should have won, Trump should have been defeated, and that would have been that. What I think is going on is Trump getting elected was intentional, which obviously most people who are intelligent in the politics, they realize that the election of the presidents are chosen, they know who they're going to put in there, and they do whatever it takes, that outcome happens. So Trump was meant to win, and they knew the backlash and the repercussions of Trump winning. They knew the animosity that was going to stir up in the American public because of that. And that's why they kicked into high gear, because this was an opportunity, a problem, reaction, solution type deal. And with this animosity and stuff, this was the time for Google to kick into high gear and start manipulating people's thinking in the digital realm. Kind of like a stage 2 of the alternative media digital takeover, kind of. So he claims out of nowhere they did a 180 and just started this, but this is probably like a stage 2. And he's obviously not a dumb guy. So how he was completely oblivious up until this point, I don't buy it. He seems like some kind of agent or a controlled asset or something doing this. And even just being from Google, it doesn't help his credibility. So
Machine learning fairness is a merging between artificial intelligence and critical race theory.
Ooh.
And once I saw this, I knew, okay, this is the real censorship engine. It's not Project Dragonfly. Like, that was almost like a fake project, in my opinion. And it coincidentally, they ended Project Dragonfly the same month that within 30 days of me blowing the lid on machine learning fairness. And they had this nice sort of Marxist name, like fairness, like if you're against it, you're against fairness and you want an unfair world. But when I looked through the documents of this machine learning fairness, I could tell that what they were trying to do was reshape the perceptions of people's understanding of the world, and that even objective reality could be algorithmically unfair and justify correction via product intervention. And their hope was to remake the world in this fair and equitable place. That's their words. And that they felt that they had a responsibility and the power to do that sort of re-ranking of the entire world's information. And I was like, holy smokes, this is really awful. But I didn't, like, when I first saw this, it wasn't my intention to like leak it. I pretty much just saved all these documents as PDFs to the laptop to sort of ground myself into like what was actually happening.
Right.
Because look, like it seemed crazy at the time that this corporation was going to turn totally dystopian. And so
I also find it slightly hard to believe that Google just allows all these internal documents to be searchable by the employees and readily downloadable to their laptops, where they can then just take them home and make them public if they desire. So I find that a little hard to believe that, he was just able to gather all these documents all easily, willy-nilly, put them on his laptop, and just save them for a rainy day. But I don't know, maybe.
Whenever something like this happens, the first thing someone should do is say to themselves, wait a minute, is the whole world going crazy or am I going crazy? Because there's a lot of people that think that the world's going crazy when it's really them going crazy. And so I started to think to myself, well, maybe I'm just going crazy. And I'm like in the beginnings of some sort of schizophrenia, because it can't possibly be this abrupt. They couldn't possibly lie to us this entire time. And it couldn't be that the entire media apparatus was covering for them so that they could have this coup on the planet.
Right.
It's much more likely that I'm going crazy in the head. So just to make sure that I'm not going crazy, I'm going to start downloading these documents. So I start downloading these documents one at a time to PDF. Thank God to the Chrome team for creating this Save as PDF feature. That's how I exfiltrated all of the documents. And once I got it, on my laptop, they just sort of sat. But then what I saw was Google violating all these sort of like moral red lines that I thought that they would never cross. Mm-hmm. Right? Like censoring YouTube, because YouTube literally, its name is YouTube. And they started treating it like their tube. And it wasn't until it was this 2017 all hands meeting called the Stream Conference, in which the CEO, Susan Wojcicki of YouTube, went up and stated that, yes, indeed, they were going to filter the fake news, that they were going to boost the authoritative content. And I realized that, yeah, they're serious. This is the beginning of a totalitarian conversion of the company. They're laying down the groundwork now for us employees to accept this and normalize what they're about to do. And what's really funny is that, after she gave this whole speech, she had this, one of the executives, in the media come out and talk about what should we do about fake news? And his answer was really amazing, because at that time I was fully aware that fake news was a tool of the establishment. So this guy came and he was just actually, you can't get rid of fake news. It's actually a lot more complex of a topic than you think. And he said this directly to the CEO, basically contradicting her entire, thesis of her speech.
Right.
And I was laughing to myself because I was like, yeah, fake news is a complex concept because the mainstream media is engaging in it at all times. You know, for example, the Russian collusion hoax against Donald Trump. Oh, Putin hacked our election. No, like it was leaked by Seth Rich and, you know, all that nonsense about Russia hacking the election. Like they never produced any sauce. Like at the beginning.
I like how he says it was leaked by Seth Rich, like just all nonchalantly, you know, factual statement. It was leaked by Seth Rich. Wonder if he knows something we don't, but it's supposedly leaked by Seth Rich. And most likely it was, but
Beginning, I was like, okay, well, maybe Russia did hack the election. I'm just going to wait for the evidence because obviously they're going to give the evidence if 17 different intelligence apparatuses are all telling us the same thing, that Russia hacked the election. And then the evidence came out and it was like some port scanning of like, you know, stuff like that happens as soon as your computer gets connected to the internet, it gets port scanned, right? Mm-hmm. So they were taking this like port scanning as like evidence that Russia was like trying to hack the election. And it's just like, this is the evidence that like 17 intelligence agencies were doing. So I was very, very familiar with fake news. They were committing it. And so for them to use this as a justification that they had to like rework the entire internet and boost authoritative content and like, you know, like this was going to be an easy problem to solve was ludicrous. I knew exactly what they were doing. But I didn't really get committed to blowing the whistle until I saw, sort of the ramifications of the Covfefe tweets, which, if you remember, Trump came back and said, despite the negative constant press, Covfefe. And then the next day, the New York Times wrote a hit piece on the word Covfefe. And then that same day, Google created a design document saying, hey, the New York Times is saying Covfefe is a nonsense word. But unfortunately, we translate it from our Arabic to English translation dictionary to we will stand up. And so they literally deleted the word Covfefe from the Arabic translation dictionary because the New York Times said that it was nonsense. And therefore, what Trump was tweeting was nonsense and probably due to his mental incapacity. And so they were going to try to use the 25th Amendment to remove the sitting president from the United States. Now, when I'm watching this, Charlie, I'm thinking to myself, I'm now part of this conspiracy to overthrow the president and the United States. So, you know, I saved that as PDF, obviously, and then I started putting in the groundwork to let everyone know that this machine learning fairness was the thing that was censoring everyone. And I got it out there to Project Veritas, who launched the Sting investigation, and it was their biggest story that they've ever had. And they actually changed their business model to be a whistleblower pipeline. Because of the success of the story. And it helped spawn a successive wave of whistleblowers for big tech.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for the last 2 years, I've been part of the ranks of people that have been complaining about big tech censorship, but I want to be actually one of the people that was going to fix big tech censorship. And so what I did is, you know, about 9 months ago, I started a new project called Blast.video, which was going to be a cross-platform aggregation engine, which is basically the YouTube recommendation app, but across like BitChute and Rumble and Brighteon and all these other services, right? Like it goes out there, it's a spider, it goes and collects all this information, it brings it back into one single place, and then boom, we've got all of our conservative leaders like all in the same place. Conservative, conspiracy, whatnot.
Okay, so this was all a conspiracy to overthrow the president, according to him. No, I'm not so sure about that, but going back to when he said with Google and around 2016, 2017, they had that meeting where they were going to start kind of censoring independent content and promoting the authoritative sources and all that other stuff. That is true. I witnessed that firsthand happening because I got really into YouTube in 2016 And for 2016 and the 2017, I'm not sure if it was all of 2017, maybe in the 2018. But in the beginning there, the recommended videos that would come up from the videos I watched, they were all relevant to the independent content I was watching. And I found a lot of channels that way by the recommended videos. And then they did change that, 2017, 2018-ish. And it just all went to crap. It's now all authoritative stuff. You can't find any of the independent stuff anymore. So he is right about that, and I witnessed it firsthand. Now, the whole thing being a plot to overthrow the president, that's all nonsense. But like I said, they have an agenda, and they were carrying it out, and I don't fully believe this guy's story. But carrying on, he goes into a describe blast video here, and have a short clip of that. So let's go back over and finish that.
Got a pretty low bar of entry. We've got all of our conservative leaders like all in the same place. Conservative, conspiracy, whatnot. I've got a pretty low bar of entry. If you're like, kind of hunted by big tech, then I want to know what your content is. But no deep Q accounts or anything like that. You can mention Q, but like if you think that like there's this secret, like, like, I don't know, like, I guess Austin Steinbart, like how close, if people are too close to Austin Steinbart, then, they're not going to find a home on Blast Video. But other than that, like legitimately free speech and people that are probably not intelligence assets definitely have a home on Blast Video, because ultimately what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a sense making, system, right? Like, why are we all addicted to the Twitter hive minds? Because we want to know what the aggregate thinks. We want to make sense of the world. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to recreate that experience with the video platforms, and make that so people didn't have all this friction for all these content creators that they wanted to access.
Okay, so there he says of who's going to make it on Blast Video, and I think it's funny that as long as you're not a mainstream Q pusher and probably not an Intel asset, you'll find a home on Blast Video. Well, I'd say you failed miserably with the probably not an Intel asset part of that, because from the way it looks, just about everyone on Blast Video is an Intel asset in some form or another. Most probably directly, and the rest probably indirectly. And he probably even failed with the QAnon stuff, because I see good old SGT reports on there, so they're a Q supporter. They might not be a super pusher, like they know when to back off and when to push it, but they definitely supported Q. So he failed on that front, and we're going to go over to Blast Video and see the trending stuff that he's collecting and pushing out to people all in one place, and look in some of the channels just a little bit more, just to see, exactly what they are, so I can get the point across that what he's creating here is just a one-stop shop for mainstream media 2.0. And it's really sad that, alternative media has come to that, but that's the control they have, over the digital realm. So let's head back over to the browser, and we will see that. Let me line up this video for the next clip. What do I need? 5107. 5127. Okay, so here is blast.video. Now, when you come to it, it starts with the trending tab. Then you have an independent tab, which I guess is supposed to be independent um, channels. Then you have a populist type channel, and then a mainstream. And the funny thing is, the only thing on the mainstream is Newsmax, Fox News, Sean Hannity, and a lot of Sean Hannity. And I'm sure Tucker's on there, but I don't think he has his own independent channel. Oh, OANN. So then you have a health section, and you have a news. And the news just links to these channels' websites. So you can go to their own dedicated website and just look at the ridiculous networks he has. Just about all completely bunk. All mainstream media 2.0. So let's go back to trending here. And let's look at the channels. Leading the way, InfoWars. Yep. You got to keep pushing the InfoWars because that's the original information warfare on the people's minds. Probably one of the biggest digital psyops to ever take place, InfoWars. So, not a surprise that they're probably leading the way on here. And anyone who hasn't risen above InfoWars at this point, I'm sorry, but you're probably never going to rise above. I mean, it doesn't take much intelligence to see what's going on with them. So here we have the Epic Times. What else do we got? A lot of InfoWars. Newsmax TV. Another semi-mainstream. Fox News. Next News Network. Memology 101. Oh, good old Timcast, IRL. Yep. Good old fence sitter, grifter Timcast in his $1 million mansion. What else? RSBN, which is, I think, Right Side Broadcasting Network. NTD, which is Chinese, which we'll go over that a little more and see some connections. Red Voice Media with Stu, the Glowworm Peters. The Pete Santilli Show, which is bullshit. Bannon's War Room, of course. The Rubin Report. Sean Hannity. Keep going. Thrive Time Show. I haven't really heard of that one, but I'm sure it's garbage. Sticks, Hex, and Hammer 666. This PUD, I don't know how he even garnered an audience, but it's just the satanic panic, man. There's nothing about all these signs and symbols I do in my name. Follow me. Crossroads. The InfoWars War Room. OANN. Stu Peters himself. Press for Truth. Dr. Steve Turley, On the Fringe, We Are Change. Good old Shill Radowski. He's best buds with Timcast now. He wants that Timcast money. Just the News. Anomaly. Who else do we got? The Health Ranger. Glenn Beck. Nicholas Veniamin, whatever you say that. Breaking Points. Judicial Watch. Jordan Sather. Jeremy Harrell. Rakita Law. Chrissy Mayer. Surprised I don't see the freaking Amazing Polly on here yet. Viva Frey, George Galloway, High Impact Flicks, The United Spot, Liberal Hive Mind. Oh, here, a Black Conservative Patriot. That genre of alternative media has been highly effective. The Black Conservative Patriots, like old Terrence Williams and a whole slew of other ones that got started for the Trump train, and they're still kicking. Rebel News, The Jimmy Dore Show. Well, here's a few I haven't heard of. Kevin's Corner, The Crow House, Dustin Nemo's Shroppy. Ben Shapiro, yep. Because he's a good conservative voice. Red Pill 78, CD Media, SGT Report. Sarah Korher, The Quartering, Stephen Molyneux, The Salty Cracker, NTD, China Uncensored, The Gateway Pundit. Michael Knowles, I do believe he's either InfoWars related or Shapiro related. I can't remember. The one half decent one I see here, The Last American Vagabond. He's about the most credible alternative media I've seen and glows the least. American Media Periscope. Oh, there's Amazing Polly. Yep, she'd make it on there. Woke Societies. Yep, everyone's woke for sure. Prager University. Conscious Resistance. Conscious Resistance ain't too bad. They're trying to get people to actually start change and start living differently out of the system. Mark Dice, good old shill Mark Dice, making that YouTube money. Lionel Nation, Miss Pud. Mark Levin Show. Canadian Prepper, yep, the Preppers. American Thought Leaders. Corbett Report, which Corbett ain't too bad. Gothics. So, in my opinion, pretty much 95% of all these channels are absolute garbage. Absolute garbage, wasting your time even listening to them because you're not going to get any useful information from them that you can't get from another more credible source. And a good main source for most current trending news is The Last American Vagabond. Even though he has connections to other journalists and independent media that I question, but Ryan and T-Lav is, in my opinion, the best and most credible. So let's go over to this tab and let's see some of those channels I mentioned. Now, starting off here with OAN, One American News Network. I thought it was OANN, but I'm just calling it OAN now. Scroll down. This is their actual website and about. One American News Network is owned by Herring Networks Incorporated. Herring Networks Incorporated is a family-owned and operated independent media company focused on providing high-quality national television programming to consumers via its national cable networks. The for-profit company was established in 2004 and has its primary production operations in California and Washington, D.C. So, yeah, they sound real credible. Owned by a bigger company, and they're actually on cable networks, and they're for-profit. Yep. You can trust them. Bring all that good conservative, independent information together in one platform. And look at their YouTube presence. Which, funny thing is, most all these channels have a YouTube presence and a pretty good following. And if you pay attention, just about every one of these is checkmark verified on YouTube. Yep, checkmark verified. How do you go about doing that? How do I get checkmark verified? 1.43 million subscribers for One American News Network. And they're still permitted on YouTube to push their garbage. Yep, they're trustworthy. Definitely, probably not Intel assets. They air on Verizon Fios, AT&T Uverse, CenturyLink Prism, stream on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Vivacast Media. Yep, they're a new credible source for national and international headlines. And another thing to pay attention to on these YouTube channels is when did they join? And you'll find most of these channels joined around 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, all leading up to the Trump election. So can you say planned, intentional, intentional lead up IIA operations on the digital realm to seize upon the problem reaction solution of the divide that Trump winning the election was going to cause and Hillary losing was going to cause? And this stuff is not a coincidence, folks. This is all intentional. Here's Sticks, Hex, and Hammer. He actually joined earlier. But, yep, look at his logo. I forgot what they call that, but snake eating its own tail. An occult symbol. Here looks like some kind of eclipse symbol in the middle, more occult. His whole name is occult. The 666 description, I am God. This dude is one of the biggest puds I've ever seen. And I don't know how he has a following. Almost 500,000 subscribers. Still permitted on YouTube. And you go down through all these videos, there must be 30 to 50 videos. He's all wearing this same stupid shirt. Does he film that many videos in one day, or does he not change his clothes? I don't know. But total pud. If you subscribe to this douchebag, I feel sorry for you. Judicial Watch. They've been around for a while. 2006, that's clear back in the beginning of YouTube. Almost 500,000 subscribers. Checkmark verified. Oh, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer was checkmark verified too. I don't know if you've seen that. But Judicial Watch, maybe they might have some decent information, but I found them to be pretty much garbage. Don't watch them. Don't listen to them. Here's the RSBN network. Right Side Broadcasting. Checkmark verified. Started 2014, leading up Trump election. Yep, the right side. 1.5 million subscribers. We are the #1 go-to channel for full live Trump rally coverage. Yep. 2 years before the election. It was created to, be in the run-up to the election. We show you the crowds that Trump brings, unlike the mainstream. Absolute garbage. This is... Excuse me. That's still my lungs there. A lot of these channels are all still that conservative, right-wing, Christian, pandering group. Like, that is their target demographic, and that's what most all these channels are targeted at. So, like I said, it's a big operation towards them. And it's worked beautifully. The right-wing conservative and playing the Jeebus card. You put them two together, you can brainwash a lot of people, and that's what a lot of these channels have done. The Next News Network. I think I was suggested them back in the early days of YouTube and found them to be kind of stupid and garbage, but 2.14 million subscribers, checkmark verified, started 2012. They're an award-winning media channel for commentary and news on DC politics, government corruption, and national headlines. Hosted by Gary Frankie Jr., which supposedly he was part of Ron Paul's campaigns when running for president. But now he's just a sellout shill and probably not an Intel asset, I mean. Next up, Newsmax, 2.01 million subscribers, checkmark verified, 2008. Fastest growing cable news channel in more than 70 million homes. So they're an actual on cable television. So they're mainstream. And, a lot of these channels are kind of mainstream. So again, mainstream media 2.0. Sean Spicer, Craig Kelly, Eric Bowling, Grant Stitchfield, Chris Salcido, and more. The Epic Times, checkmark verified. 500,000 subscribers. Started 2014. Yep. Lead up to Trump election. I do believe that Epic Times is Canadian. I do believe it's Canadian. I think they're also Chinese. China's likely involved in the Epic Times, but through Canada. I have this community pulled up here because, they popped the new one up, alright. Because then you go to NTD, which is another big one on Blast Video, 1.3 million subscribers. I don't know what NTD stands for, but look at their community. This Colin Wright, Chinese subway cars removed, Hillary Clinton conspiracy, sports washing. Then go to Epic Times community before they put this new one. Colin Wright, subway cars removed, Clinton conspiracy, sports washing. They're mirroring. The NTD and the Epic Times are mirroring all these posts. And they're Chinese run. These are Chinese channels. You go to their about, like I said, they're in 2014. Close that. This here was an article, which I reached my limit, which I don't even go on there, so I don't know how I did that. But this article was saying how the Epic Times spent $1.2 million or $1.8 million in 2016 on advertisements. I'm not sure if that was just YouTube advertisements or what, but maybe it was 2018 they did that. Yeah, I think it was 2018. It was halfway through the Trump presidency. So it'd be the 2 years leading up to re-election. So they're dropping, 1.2 up to almost $2 million in ads. Probably trying to, promote and seal a Trump re-election. And here is their website, in our own words. Look at their staff here. You got John Tang, Kirk Wang, Karen Chang, Chris Lee, Dana Chang, Crystal Shi, Catherine Yang, Annie Wu, Teresa Yu, all Chinese. It's all Chinese. Probably the CCCP running the old Epic Times, garbage news. And here's another, China Uncensored on Blast Video, checkmark verified, 1.75 million subscribers, 2012. China Uncensored will bring you the uncensored truth about the CCCP secret plan to take over the world. Just kidding, sort of. Yep, I'm sure they're giving you official news. Not swayed in any way by Chinese agenda, which is the elite's agenda. So, and then the NTD, which I tell you is probably holding hands with the Epic Times. They joined clear back in 2006, but this could have been just another channel It was created in 2006. They changed the name. So you don't know if, when they joined, if they've been, this actual channel the entire time. But 1.3 million subscribers, and somehow they don't have a check mark. So that's interesting. They're a New York-based global television network founded in 2001 by Chinese Americans who fled communism. They understood that independent media is crucial to a free society, so they created NTD to bring the world uncensored and truthful information, no matter the cost. We remain free from all external influence, whether political, financial, or special interest, to cover stories that others don't. Yep, I'm sure you're real trustworthy. And the funny thing is, all these channels, they're still all on Twitter. Most all on Facebook still. Yeah, they have some of the alternative ones, but they're still on the main three social media, permitted, because they say it's controlled and it's pushing a narrative, and they want that narrative there, so they're permitted. They're probably not Intel assets. Crossroads with Joshua Phillip. Oh, he's not checkmarked. Surprising. 608,000 subs. Joined March 2019. So right before the Trump re-election. Oh, and Crossroads is a channel from the Epoch Times, so Chinese controlled. Yep. The Rubin Report, checkmark verified, 1.69 million subscribers. Joined 2012. And old Rubin is a author, comedian, TV personality, best known for political commentary. But now he has a new show portraying a journalist. It's a talk show, but being advertised as a new show. So, garbage. Don't forget to buy his book, Don't Burn This Country. Well, this country's smoldering already. It's already been burnt. Breaking Points. Checkmark verified, 803,000 subs. Joined in 2021, so that's pretty new. Crystal and Sagar is a fearless anti-establishment YouTube show and podcast. I'm sure you are, Crystal and Sagar. Black Conservative Patriot, 620,000 subs. Joined in 2009, probably under a different name. And when the Trump train got going, it became Black Conservative Patriot. Because freedom and liberty are colorblind. The only colors we care about here are red, white, and blue. Especially our red Trump hats. And don't say that, but might as well. This is the Red Pill channel with a conservative / quasi-libertarian point of view. We deal in reality and truth in the world of news, politics, economics. President Trump to the Constitution. We correct the false narrative of the failed, fake news, corporate legacy media. Come along for the ride. So like I said, people like him, Terrence K. Williams, playing the right-wing conservative Jeebus card, people gobble that up. Do you know how many people of color probably support this and get behind it because they're not afraid to go out there and be black and support right-wing conservative views and support Trump. They're standing up and being public about it. And that appeals to a lot of people. And they've seen that this works. And that's why you have all these black conservative patriots out there that have made social media presences. And Terrence K. Williams, Trump tugging, it has disgusted me. I used to not mind him making fun of libs, but his Trump tugging has become super pathetic and almost unwatchable. I'm surprised this dude's not checkmark verified. And his red pill, it looks more like a purple pill to me. Good old Rebel News. 1.56 million subs. Checkmark verified. Joined 2015. Yep, 2015. 1 year before the election. Big Trump train. Big Trump train conductors. So that was the goal of their network. A lot of people still watch them. The Quartering. 1.23 million subs. Checkmark verified. Joined 2015, right before Trump. Yep. News, beards, and spicy memes. So they're playing the more memes and kind of comedy angle of the right-wing conservative type genre. And I forgot to show you, but a lot of these channels, they all have their store here. Buy my merch. The weak should fear the spicy, whatever the fuck that means. Show me the receipts. Yeah, show me the receipts. Because you're so woke in knowledge with your purple pill. Lionel Nation. I'm surprised you don't have more. Only 235,000 subs. Checkmark verified. 2006. The dude's a total pud. Why anybody would watch him for actual information is beyond me. And good old Mark Dice. And kind of like Terrence, I used to like Mark making fun of liberals. Checkmark verified. 1.8 million subs. 2007. This dude is an absolute complete sellout. Whether he is like that, I don't think he was like that in the beginning. But once he got money coming in, he knows what fence to ride. And he's probably made quite a fortune off of it. But he's a complete shill, likely an Intel asset now. And he's doing whatever he needs to do to push the right-wing conservative Jeebus card. I'm Mark Dice. I enjoy laughing at liberal lunatics, mocking celebrity scum, and exposing the liberal media industrial complex. You have found the best conservative channel on YouTube, so subscribe now and donate to me and visit my store for all this awesome merch. This channel has over 1.5 million subs and more than 400 million views, and Mark's viral videos have been featured on Fox News, The Drudge Report, The Washington Times, and other mainstream media outlets around the world. This was the first conservative YouTube channel to reach 1 million subs. Yep. He completely went mainstream. Oh, he has a degree in communications, specializing in independent media analyst. Best-selling author, Hollywood propaganda, how TV, movies, and music shape our culture. I'm sure he really got that analysis spot on. Complete shill. And then my favorite, the SGT report. 124,699 subscribers on BitChute, which is quite an achievement. And that's all because of the stupid QAnon bullshit. Yep, QAnon. So, all those channels, they're all blast.video. That's what old Voorhees is pushing on you. Come here, a one-stop shop for mainstream media 2.0. Get it? Get it all in one place. You don't have to go scour all these sites and collect them all together. It's all in one spot. I brought it to you. I'm the Google whistleblower. You can trust me. I'm a whistleblower. I'm fighting for freedom of speech and online. And this is not an ulterior. There's no ulterior motives here. I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart. Yep. I'm not an IIA operation or an Intel asset. And this isn't to continue to push narratives, control the right-wing conservatives and give them the necessary firmware updates that we can no longer give them through the legacy mainstream media. So I'm helping further the mainstream media 2.0. Good job, Zach Voorhees. I'd say you've done a successful job in this. So let's watch this very last clip here. It's only like 2 minutes, and we'll wrap this up.
There is one thing I hope that there's yet another thing that you could be a pioneer of as well. And this is one of the cool features on Blast.video is the clipping. You just talked about, cutting away all of your expenses. Talk about the clipping feature on the videos. Because this is what I say. We may have a third thing where it's like a month later, everyone started offering this crazy clipping feature. I wonder where they found that from. They probably found it from you, right?
Dude, it's popping up everywhere now. It's like YouTube, they've got like a download feature. Odyssey's got like a download feature. I know that I've gotten the interest of a lot of these other companies like Rockfin and all this. Like I'm actually in talks with them. And they are seeing the value of RSS feeds. They see the value of being able to download a video and create clips. And all those video downloaders on the internet are now breaking. They don't exist anymore for whatever reason. And so what I've done is I've created the best video clipper on the internet. It's free to use. And it's also tied into every single video that's on Blast.video. You'll see at the lower right-hand corner of every video, a little tiny word that says clip. You click the clip button and it's going to bring you to the clipper, the video clipper. It's going to give the URL and then like some timestamps. So, because people want to save video to Twitter and Twitter has this 2-minute, 20-minute limit. So, it's all about being able to find those clips from the internet and then use that to promote on other sites. And this is one of the great features that Blast.video has. I hope that other people will see the value of this and integrate it into their video hosts as well. Because look, this content wants to be free. We're living in another Napster moment, right? Like Napster was sharing of illegal content. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share content that wants to be free, right? And hopefully other people will see the value in that and copy it for these other platforms.
And I'll tell you, I don't know how many times I've been watching a video. It's just like an hour-long video. And there's a spot right in the middle. And I go, that's what I want. To have the ability to just go clip and just clip that little piece out and take that, download it, and then put it wherever. You didn't invent the wheel. You just made it better.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think the people that like my show probably, watch a lot of videos and things like that. They'll find use for it. I mean, it's certainly useful. What's the future for Blast.video if we get you guys all over the place? Everybody knows.
So there you go. That's the ending there. He built in a video clipper, and I pulled it up there while he was explaining it. Every video has a clip where you can clip out whatever section you want. And his inspiration behind this is so you can clip smaller segments and you can share them on all your social media. And I don't know if they're all, but he mentions how Twitter or something, a lot of the social media has a time limit. So I don't know if this 2 minutes 20, because he mentions 2 minutes something, if you can only do 2-minute clips or if you can clip longer. But his goal is so you can just clip and share it everywhere freely, easily. Anybody can do it. It's right at your fingertips. You can take all these great sources, all these great alternative media sources, pull clips from them, and share them all around social media so everyone else has access to all these great sources. Yeah. Well, if you consider them great sources of information, I consider them pretty much all bullshit. So he wants you to super easily clip and share bullshit everywhere for everyone else to absorb this bullshit. So that's the thing. Zach Voorhees, is he legit? Blast Dot Video, is this an asset to the real truth movement? Or is it just continuing the IIA operations of the digital global takeover? The control of people's minds and thinking and emotions and everything else. And I'm leaning on the side, this is just further IIA. You know, nothing here is worthwhile. If it was, large majority of all these videos would be Last American Vagabond. And I don't even know who. And there's a lot of stuff I watch, but I'm at the level where I can weed out the bullshit and absorb any tidbits of decent information that they might let slip out or intentionally let out or whatever, but all the bullshit gets filtered. I'm able to do that. Everyone else isn't. So there's not many good channels out there really at all anymore. So I don't believe this Voorhees. I don't really believe his story. He was just completely oblivious up until 2016, and then he realized what was going on because it was a conspiracy to overthrow the president. So I created this, bring a whole bunch of alternative channels that are all geared toward the right-wing Christian Jeebus card playing conservatives all in one place, and then you can clip them and share them to everybody to get everybody on board. I'm not buying it, Voorhees. So that's my video for today, folks. Take that information, come to your own conclusion. I don't need his platform to get all the videos I need. I have a main set where I do watch YouTube videos, I watch Odyssey videos, BitChute videos, and Rockfin videos. And everyone that I need to get information from is on one of those platforms. And most of my content is YouTube and Odyssey. And Rockfin would be a third. BitChute, there's some okay stuff like Data Dumper when he collects random stuff. But a lot of those channels are kind of like these channels. But like I said, I'm at the level where I can weed through the nonsense and glean out the good parts. So, and that level is the gold pill level. If you've been watching my videos, and I know not many people have, it's hard trying to start a channel, and I'm not the most interesting person, and I don't have fancy high production value and a staff and all this stuff to entice you and light up your little brain endorphins and get you interested because you're low IQ and not capable of abstract thought, and you're not really into the message. You're more into the theatrics and the production of it. So I don't know, how wide a range my channel will reach, but I do believe the information I'm putting out there is good key information, and I'm sure some of you will take it and find it useful. I know there has to be other people out there with higher intelligence and higher abstract thinking that can see that there's truth in what I'm saying. And the likelihood is the truth I am saying, it goes so much further beyond that. Like my theorizing of the alternative media being completely co-opted and controlled, and pretty much mainstream media 2.0 created out of it, just further control narratives and the way they see fit and give the more fringe thinkers their firmware updates that they need. It's probably so much further beyond that, than what I know. And probably what I'm saying, a lot of you are probably like, yeah, right, they ain't doing that. It ain't that far, but it's you have to consume all this different content and see all these different people in power positions and what they're doing, what they're achieving, and the technology they already currently have. And if you have the intelligence and you intake all that information, you can decipher out of that what I'm saying is completely possible and likely happening as we speak. So I urge you guys, be aware of the content you're consuming. Be aware of, what that content is intended to make you think. Be aware of how it's manipulating your emotions. Be aware of the stories, and whatever the latest thing to occupy your mind is and why it's out there right now. And why is most of the mainstream media all covering the same topics at the same time? And it's not just, current trends like the latest breaking news. It can be just, random topics. But all the people I keep tabs on, it'll be, kind of a random topic. But 3 or 4 channels will all have a video related to it. And it's not latest breaking news. So why does 4 channels, maybe, more, 5 channels, all have a video around this same topic all put out within a day or so of each other? It's not coincidence and it's not random. This is the new mainstream media 2.0 for the fringe thinkers on the internet. They knew the level of access to information the internet was going to give people. They knew it from the start. This is ARPA technology that they released upon us. They were aware of it. So you don't think they had a plan to control that information? Give it to the people, let them get a taste of it, and then slowly initiate the framework to control their intake. Just like the searching, the Google searching now. They say you have 1 billion results, but then you try to go through it and you only have 50 results. You can't access anything else. You can't access information they don't want you to access. It's completely controlled now. So that makes you ask the question, the information and content you can access, why are you allowed to access it? Because it's serving an agenda. It's pushing a certain narrative that they want pushed on you. Here, let's take a look at a search. Now, I used a Brave search, but it kind of does suck compared to Google. Here's Google. Now, just do a search for California fires 2017. So it says 31 million results. But if you go down to the bottom and you start scrolling through the pages, each page is going to change. And you're going to end up by page 5 with like 50 results. Now, I'm hesitant to go down there and do that because I'm pretty sure Google shows my IP address. But go do it for yourself. TrueStream Media had a video on where is the internet gone. So it is so highly controlled that, what other theory, is there besides they're controlling everything you intake on the internet? So, all right, I'm done rambling. I'm done trying to drive the point home. You're either going to get it and start thinking higher and start, connecting these dots, or you're not going to get it. And you're going to, leave here and go listen to InfoWars and Alex Jones and the Rosicrucian Intel agent, Alex Jones. So, everyone, this has been Gold Pilled. I urge you to find the gold pill and take it. We need people to realize this before it's too late, before we're all locked in the metaverse. So everyone, take care out there. Peace.